Welcome, Garden Club members, to our virtual presentation of fall urns and centerpieces by our designer extraordinaire, Cynthia Hoyzak. As most of you know, Cynthia is passionate about flowers and design. Her talent was discovered by the club about 10 years ago when she repeatedly won the flower arranging competition on our fall outings. Since then, Cynthia has been asked to make arrangements and centerpieces for all our special events. She's also the creative inspiration for the Pearly cart decorations at the Pearly Hospital, and in her spare time is the photographer for the Blooming News. What some of you might not know is that Cynthia is also passionate about textiles and is a skilled weaver. When in Saudi Arabia, she taught weaving to more than 300 women from all around the world. Back here at home, she runs her own interior design business called Textile Decor. Cynthia, we're delighted to have you share your talents with us today.
Thank you. Hi everyone. I'd just like to welcome you to my garage and workshop. And I'm very pleased today to be able to present 4 or 5, seeing how things go, floral arrangements for the club, which I believe are going to be donated to some lucky members. Over a month ago, I was at Costco and I picked up one of those wonderful, big, huge mum planters. So it did me well for the time, and then about a week ago or so, all the blooms had faded. So I was left with a wonderful pot. So I decided to use that for my fresh plant, I guess, arrangement for the club. So it really just consists of a fall arrangement with a few grasses and this beautiful little lime green, I guess it's something like a cypress, and the marigolds, and oh yes, we must have a cabbage, ornamental cabbage in each arrangement. And then basically that's it. So this is all set to stand out on its own on a step, or if you have a large enough planter, you can just plunk this in it. And this should last you, well, a good 6 weeks, I'd say. For my second arrangement, we're going an entirely different route, and it more or less all got started with one of these little guys here, a little glass vase that I got at the bargain box a couple of years ago, and I just held on to it. So when it came time to think up of something to do an arrangement with, I thought, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I could find some others of these? Well, sure enough, I was at Value Village, and there were 3 just waiting for me for $4. And then I was out looking for something that would, coordinate with that. And another time at Value Village, don't I come across this wonderful vase in the metal stand. So there I had my idea for an arrangement. So now came what to fill this with. So when you go online, you can see all kinds of different materials that are used: sand, pebbles, rocks, moss, you name it. And one day I was at the new Costco, and I happened by this whole skid full of red lentils. That's it. That was going to be my filler. So this arrangement consists of a table centerpiece, and then if you have 4 guests, these go at each of their place settings for them to take home. And it just really consists of the lentils, and then I've had some of this nice green moss. And then there was one plant I bought of this, it's a type of a jade, and there were 4 stems in this one pot, so I cut off all the individual ones and plunked one in each. So it's just sitting in the lentils. It will eventually root, and then if you like, in time, you can repot it in some earth if you like. And just to keep it going for now, I would suggest that you just have to mist it a little bit. And these funky little guys are from a maple tree that I stopped last week. There was some fallen branches after a windstorm, and this long branch had a bunch of lichen on it with all the little stems or branches, I guess, all with lichen. So I proceeded to take off all the leaves, and I was left with these funky little nodules that I just thought were great. I think it's probably next year's growth that started there. So I cleaned them all up and thought they would be interesting in these little guys. So there we have it. And for this arrangement, I have a glass dish that I have tacked on here. There's some sticky tape. And then this arrangement again consists of, here's some more of this jade that was cut up. And then all these plants are all got earth on them, and or just little roots. And they will all root in this earth.
So you just leave it like that all winter if you want it?
Just, that's it. And they're all just tucked in there with a little bit of earth. And they will just be watered maybe 10 days, 14 days. Mm-hmm. You can tell with these plants when they're needing water because they start to shrivel up a little bit. And you just give them some water and they'll come back again. There we go. Nice and colorful for the fall, right?
Beautiful.
Okay. So I've decided that I wanted to soften up the edges on this. And so I have some wet reindeer moss, but it's actually not a moss at all. It's a lichen, but the color on it is just fabulous with this arrangement. So I'm just tucking it all in, letting it just do its own thing. And this is just primarily a nice finishing touch on this arrangement. Now I'll show you what I did to get all these 4 little individuals. So I buy a plant because I see that it has 3 heads on it, and I'm really going to demolish it. And here we go. Voila, 1.
You just stick it in.
Yep. So in the case for this, because I didn't want any earth, I just brought it to the kitchen sink and just ran it under the sink to get rid of all the earth. And then this just gets plucked into an arrangement. I could even take this, but it's a different color, but just to give you an idea, I could just take this and plunk it in anywhere on this arrangement. But there you have it, 3 little plants out of 1. So I'd like to, I don't know if you've noticed my t-shirt or not, but it was my granddaughter who made it for me.
Nice. Is that tie-dye?
Yeah, it's the teenagers' form of tie-dye now.
Uh-huh.
And so you just take any t-shirt, but you don't tie them. These are just laid out on the ground and you scrunch certain areas. And then you have a bottle of diluted bleach. And then you just spray wherever and whatever is exposed. Wait a little while, flip it over to do the back, and then just spray this t-shirt, and this is it. So it's my granddaughter Zoe, as I say, who made this. She's made quite a few of them. And when I saw how the colors turned out, I thought, oh, this is most appropriate to wear for the garden club presentation for fall.
So black, when it's bleached, turns orange like that?
Yes.
She didn't even have to put on color.
Didn't have to do a thing. And I must tell
That's
you
great.
that this t-shirt is a beautiful quality. It's $5 from Giant Tiger. So here is presentation number 3, and it's on a different vein again altogether. So I just love the fall time and all the various pumpkins, gourds and whatnot that are available now versus 10, 15 years ago. So one of the ones that I really like is the gray-blue Hubbard. And so I was really worried for a while there in being able to find any pumpkins because they're usually only available around the end of the month and beginning of October. But a friend told me about this place in North Gatineau that just specializes in gourds. So my radar went up, and so I went out last weekend because they're only open on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and that's all they have are gourds.
Really?
And it's a wonderful setup. I highly advise anybody who wants gourds, squash, pumpkins, you name it, to pay a visit to this place. It's called Gourge and Sons. So they have all these wheelbarrows. So they go and get me a wheelbarrow and I fill it up with a whole bunch of gourds and I figure, how are they going to weigh these things? Well, would you believe there's a great big, about 4x4 piece of metal in the ground, and you just wheel your wheelbarrow on it. They take out the weight of the wheelbarrow, and then you know how much your gourds weigh. Well, mine weighed 30 pounds. And the cost is about $1.25 per pound. So I just thought I'd bring forward some of the other gourds that I found out at this place in Gatineau. This one is really funky. I just love that. So I can do an arrangement on this also, just like what I have done here with the succulents that are actually glued on here. So, but anyway, here's another one that I really liked. And then this one, as I was leaving and was in the little store that they have there, this one was by the cashier. And I just thought, oh, I couldn't believe it. Anyway, so everything is sold by weight. So this weighed 12 pounds. So
wow.
Actually this was $12.50 for this
Right.
wonderful gourd. And I'm just going to keep it because I know that with time they will eventually dry out. It might take about a year or two. I'll just keep it in a dark, cool place, and hopefully I'll have a nice dried gourd. So now getting back to how this arrangement was done, I have a whole series of succulents here. The gourd itself was not hollowed out or anything, it's just left natural, so there's a nice dip in it. And then I cleaned up all my succulents until they came to like this. Lots of times these are done where you have a whole assortment of succulents and you just nip off all the tops and then you just plunk them in an arrangement or whatever you like. But another way of doing it also is to use a glue gun. So I use this also to secure all the various mosses that I have around here. And then I just add a little bit of glue and give it a little tip.
All right.
And that's how all of these were done. So what happens is, these have already got some nice little roots on them, but even if they didn't have any roots, then roots would form into the moss that is here. And then you can just leave it like that, or if you like, you can replant them in some earth, in some other type of container.
So you're saying you could just keep that just like that, and put it on your table or wherever,
This will last you
and it will continue to grow.
like a year if need.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And you know, sometimes the little petals underneath will die off, so you just need to clean them up. But that's quite secure, and you've got a nice long-lasting arrangement.
Wonderful.
And then again, these are from my scavenger of the maple. I just needed something, a little bit of a different dimension going on there. So there is another centerpiece, or it'd be nice at an entranceway on a fall table.
That's right.
And with this will also go the place the leaf.
Oh, yeah.
So do something like that,
Beautiful.
and you're all set.
So how do you keep that going, Cynthia, for months and months?
Well, I will just mist it with a sprayer. So another way, apart from the misting, is I get these from the Dollar Tree. They're 2 for $1.25. So I use this bottle, and it enables me to get right into the area in between all these plants. They're in there really tightly. Because if I were to use any other means, the water goes spilling all over the place. But this way I have a better control over all of that. Okay, so now we come to the fourth one, and it is a fall fresh flower arrangement. And so some of the flowers, one bunch is from Costco. These incredible, very light sunflowers are from Farm Boy, and all the other cut mums and other flowers are all from Pauline Yell's garden. She had me over there last evening, and she went and picked me an abundance of wonderful mums and other flowers. So with all of that, I'm going to do this arrangement. And again, this basket is from Value Village. Amazing, truly. And then the flowers from Costco, they come with a nice envelope or cover, and it was this. So I decided, well, why not repurpose it? So I just cut it down and lined the basket with that. And I have a tray in here, and then I have some dry foam, and then I have a nice big piece of Oasis in here. So we're ready to go, and I'm just going to try and use up some of all these flowers that I have. There we go. Where there's a will, there's a way. And so I'm just going to play with placing all these.
Now you soaked your Oasis overnight beforehand?
Yep.
Where do you buy
This
your
morning
Oasis?
I soaked everything.
Uh-huh.
These Oasis are the new kind,
Oh.
because Oasis take a long time to disintegrate in landfill and whatnot. So they've come up with a more environmentally friendly Oasis, and that's what this is.
Where do you buy it? At a florist?
Actually, I got them from I belong to the Gloucester Horticultural Society, and somebody knew of somebody who was selling them, so she bought a whole bunch of them, and so I bought some at the same time. This is a beautiful zinnia from Pauline's garden.
just tuck everything in sort of here and there and
Yeah. It's
balance it off with colors and
try
such?
and well, there's everything going on here. I don't know. Really what you're trying to do here also, is, of course, hide all the foam, right? And this foam is up higher than what I would normally have it. Where does it look?
Good.
Wow. Looks like a plant that got away from itself.
It's beautiful.
Oh dear. Oh, we've got roses here. Let's use that. These bunches that you get from Costco, they're $20, and they consist of about usually 2 roses, 2 gerberas, some carnations, so maybe about 7 or 8 flowers, and then all the rest are greens.
Fillers, yeah.
Yeah. Which, you know, are very hard to get on their own. I don't know. There are all these left. There, found one there. Well, that's it.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Funky, to me. Real funky arrangement. Not my normal style, but we go with the flow. So here we have a finished arrangement from all the assortment that I had available to me. And so I'm just going to turn it around so that you can see it. And I think you'll probably have noticed that I work on a Lazy Susan, and actually it's essential. It just makes turning the pots and seeing what's going on so much easier. So actually I have 2 of these guys, and sometimes if you do an arrangement, you can just set it out on a Lazy Susan in the middle of a table even, and put some little ornaments around it if you like. But basically, that's it. So from Costco, Value Village, and Pauline, here we are. So here we have a bonus basket. I had a few of the nice fresh flowers from Pauline's left over, but not quite enough to do a whole arrangement with. So I thought, oh well, I'll just do half and half. So 1/2 is the fresh in the Oasis, and the other consists of a whole bunch of corn that I've had saving up over the years in my basement, and a few little other autumn items. So again, the basket was from Value Village, and that's it. So 1/2 will survive because it's not real, but the other half will either have to be augmented with other items like it and whatnot. But here we have a mixture basket. So here we have 5 items that are for the garden club. But I must say that many times I really I'm just playing. I just go around to the various stores. I'm very fortunate in that I have, a lot of them by me. And I just browse. And if something appeals to me, I get it. And when I've accumulated a few things, or sometimes just even one, I walk around with all the other stuff that I have. And something somehow or other just comes together. So even just like driving along and seeing some branches by the curb, I'll stop and pick those up. Or if I need some help, I'll have my son help me go and get some bulrushes in the ditches. I really like natural things. Stones, branches, moss. I have somebody actually who's going to their country house this weekend, and they're going to be bringing me back a whole bunch of moss from their area. So I'm in heaven.
Good.
So really, it all just seems to happen with play and whatever presents itself to me, and I use it to its best advantage at the time.
So thank you, Cynthia, for your wonderful creations. You're an inspiration to all of us, and we really appreciate you taking the time to demonstrate and to also give us all these helpful hints. We'll be all rushing out to the dollar store and Costco to get our ingredients. I also want to thank our program chair, Pat Sylvester, who came up with the idea for this show, and to her husband, Don, who's behind the camera the whole time. Thank you very much. We'll be delivering some of these beautiful creations to several members who, for their ongoing contributions to the club. Mary Pratt for her wonderful blog, Kelly Knoll for her unstinting technical help as we navigate the virtual world, to Pauline Yell for all she does to add the extra enhancements to our club meetings, and also for picking all these flowers, cutting all these flowers for you. Before I close, I just want to tell you that we have a special treat for next month. On October 15th, we'll be having Master Gardener Nancy McDonald give her talk on culinary delights with herbs and edible flowers. Now, this will be our first Zoom presentation, so we'll be sending out information on how we're going to do that. But I think it'll be a very enjoyable show. It's more like a cooking show rather than a gardening show, but I think we'll all enjoy it. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us for this demonstration, and just to say that we miss you all and hope we can see you soon.